So, welcome to my first video podcast series where I interview inspiring people to talk about all things energy. And I'm very honored for my first episode to have Dana-Sofie Šlancarová, an expert in the female cycle. And she's also a cycle success catalyst, okay? Where we're going to find out in just a minute what that actually means. She's also an author, an energy seeker, and she's a personal friend of mine. And I'd like to introduce and welcome her to my very first interview.
I'm so honored to be here with you. Thank you so much, Alison, for having me.
Okay, well, I'm really excited for this. We're going to see where it takes us. But before we begin, I just want to have you explain to everyone, what is it exactly that you do, and what is a cycle success catalyst?
Okay. Well, I'll go a little bit further in the history of my life, because it's important. But when I was like 25 and I finished university and I started to teach there, I had terrible periods. It was so painful. I had such cramps. I hated it. I wanted just to get rid of it. I will cut the story a little bit short, because it was still a long story, but then I wanted to get pregnant and I couldn't because I didn't have my period as I was on the pill. So I changed my relationship, but then I got pregnant and I was breastfeeding my son for 5 years and I didn't have my period. And that was such an awesome time for me. I was so happy. But then it came again. But fortunately, I was in a different stage of my life, more feminine, because I already gave birth to my son. And giving birth to our children, it changes us. So I was seeing things differently. And I started to search for information about the woman's cycle, about the female cycle. And if there is more to it, if there is more to the periods, to the pain. And exactly on that same day, and imagine that synchronicity, on the same day that I started to menstruate again after 5 years, my friend came and she brought me a documentary by a Slovak documentarist, Dana Fabianová. It was called Moon Inside You, and it was all about periods. Right. And what is the true power in it, and why it is hidden from us and from the world. So I really started to search and I found out there is more to it. I always use this magnet, it is the cyclic magnet. And we have our periods, our menstrual time, but we have 3 other phases of our cycle. And I started to observe it in my personal life and then later in my working life as I was a proofreader and a translator, and later I established a company, a publishing house. So I was really trying to find how the cycle influences me, my life, my abilities to do certain tasks, and if there are some superpowers that I could use during each of the phases. And I found there are, and I can use them. And I started to teach it to other women, and I started to write about it. And not only, because also men want to know about that. They live with us, be it our sons, because I have a son.
Everybody around us as well.
Yes, exactly. You have 3 sons and a husband. So they are living with your cycle every day, every single day. So they should know about it. And just as you said, I wrote a book. It's in Czech. But this is the book for men. And later
and just to go further, because I interviewed you a few years ago, and I put it into my e-magazine. Your journey started with you having debilitating pain.
Yes.
And it was so severe that you couldn't function.
Yes.
And to see you now living your best life and using your cycle to maximize your productivity, to maximize all of the different phases and how you perform in your life is just amazing. And helping women as well, because I'm sure I've heard of it myself where women can't function. I mean, we have lives, we have to be mothers, we have to be career women, we have to be family members, we have to be so many different roles. And to have every single month something that prevents you from being yourself and being happy and being able to even function in the normal sense,
Yes.
is very much a struggle for a lot of people. So yeah, look at you now. I mean,
Yeah, and I'm really happy that I can be helping women with it, because I have seen so many women over the years, because I've been doing this for nearly 15 years, and they were coming to me and saying, well, I have this terrible pain and I have this very heavy period. What can I do? Well, my business is suffering. What can I do? Is there a way? And I say, yeah, there is a way, and there is a very simple way. It's you don't have to, I don't know, climb many mountains, or
but
I don't know.
we tend to search for the complicated
Yes.
answers when, to be honest, some of the best things in life are the simple things that we tend to ignore, because we think, actually, we're more complicated than that, but it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, exactly. It's like too simple. Yeah. And well, yes. And for me, it was a journey, but I'm happy for it. At the time when I was there, when I was suffering from that pain, and imagine you are standing in front of a class of students, and you're like, I want to go home, and I just want to lie in my bed and do nothing. And you have to stand there for 3 lessons in a row, 90 minutes each. Yeah. So it was really, really terrible. But now it gave me so much, it gave me the drive to search for the solution. Yeah. And now it gives me the drive to tell other women, because I know it can be changed for much, much better. Yeah.
So that is one of your superpowers. And I love talking about people who go from pain to passion with purpose, right? And with yours, it wasn't just physical pain. There was a lot of emotional and mental pain to go along with that. But actually, I will include a link in this video podcast about what you do, and even to the story that you told me before, which is absolutely fascinating. But today I wanted to talk about another particular topic that really fascinated me about you. And this is another of your pain to passion and purpose, where you wrote a blog very recently. And I was really fascinated because it's a topic that really resonates, because I meet so many people with these same problems. And it was written about hypersensitive people, or what I've heard of before as highly sensitive people,
yeah,
or HSPs.
Yes. The term is highly sensitive, but when we experience this sensitivity during our period, especially, it's more about hypersensitivity. Yeah. Or it starts in the premenstrual time that we are hypersensitive. Women call themselves hypersensitive. So that is why I called, that was the title of the blog article.
And you are definitely one of these highly and hypersensitive people. And what I wanted today is, I want you to share your experience. And a lot of women who aren't exploring this energy world don't even necessarily know what's going on. Don't even know that they are highly sensitive people, and what this means to them and what they can do about it.
Yeah.
So perhaps you can describe your experience as why you're called or categorized as a highly sensitive person, and how that affects you in life.
Well, there are many definitions of highly sensitive people. And what I feel for myself, I'm a special kind of highly sensitive people. And I'm an empath. And we empaths are not only sensitive to like noises or foods or environment or whatever. When we meet with people, or when we enter certain areas, we download the energy of the person or of the place. Yeah. And that's sort of, gift in disguise, because when we do not know about it, we may feel, and we enter, or we meet with someone who's not feeling well, or has all kinds of emotions such as fear, anxiety, depression, or whatever. We may feel it in our bodies. Yeah, we may feel it in our own system.
And I guess this applies to good and bad. So you could be in a very amazing energy environment and feel great, or around somebody who's very inspiring and feel great. But on the flip side, like you're saying.
Yes. And mostly we live still in the 3D world. And so we tend to tap into the 3D version, not the 5D.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where, like you say, the fear and the emotions.
Yeah. And we can also feel, it's not only that, for example, now that I'm talking with you, we are definitely having a core in between us, right?
Yes.
Energetic cord. But this may happen also that you tap into the collective unconscious. And for example, I used to feel stuff that wasn't mine during COVID. And I was like, what's going on? Why am I feeling this? Yeah, and it was really terrible for me because I was like, is it me? It's not me. Yeah.
So do you have to be around somebody to feel that way?
No.
You have to be in a busy area?
Well, it can be very, different for different people. So I'll talk only about what it does to me, because that's what I know best. Yeah. But for example, if I go to a busy area, I can feel it, and I can feel it even like waves or wind. Yeah. If I go, for example, we have a sort of downtown highway here, not far from where I live. And if I just pass down there to the main square, I walk on the bridge over it, I can feel, I'm like going like this. If there was a strong wind, but it's no wind. Yeah, it's just the energies of the cars and of the people. And for example, if I'm driving, just recently I was driving in my camper van, and I was driving through beautiful places, meeting no one. There was no one on the road. And then I entered a huge city, and I immediately started, shrinking and feeling oppressed and having strange thoughts. So yeah, this may be, the case or it's my case. Yeah. And if I talk to someone, for example, that my dad has been ill, but he's not sort of ill. He's the same kind of person, the same empath as me. So he feels energies of other people, and then he thinks it's his, but it's not. And he goes to the doctors, and they say, well, there's nothing wrong with you, sir. And he says, but I feel so terrible. And they say, we cannot find anything.
So I want to pause here, because this is one of the points where whoever is watching this either relates and says, I know what she means. I'm an empath. I feel the energies of other people too. And I'm definitely a highly sensitive person. But there could also be those people who haven't explored as much the energy world as we have. And they're like, wait, this is how I feel sometimes. And I thought it was me, right? Because if you don't understand that you can actually take on other people's emotions and energies and feelings and things like that, and you enter into a crowded area and you start feeling really angry all of a sudden, and you don't realize maybe that's not even yours. That's I think it's an important breakthrough to make, and a very important connection to make as well.
Yeah, it is really great that you are talking about it, because I was thinking always, and even if you are in the self-development world, they are saying everything that you are going through is yours. Yeah. But it is yours because we are all one.
Yes.
But we are unique in these bodies. Yeah. And what we are experiencing, especially as empaths, is not ours. And what I read is that even 80% of what we are experiencing is not ours. Yeah, so imagine that you are making your life decisions based on feelings that you have from someone else. And it may be your spouse, and then it's okay if you are aligned, but it may be your, mother-in-law, and you are not aligned with her. Or it may be your mom that used to tell you, well, you should fear this, you should not do that. So, and when you talk over the phone with people like this, it catches up with you, and it's in your system. Yeah. So So this is what
that was my next thing. If you could give 3 tips on how you could reduce or
yes. Think number 1 that I'm using now at the moment is really definitely cutting cords when I speak to someone. And even if I'm speaking to someone in a very good, in a good mood, and we are having a perfect conversation, but I found myself returning to it over and over again, I cut it because it still keeps me back there. Yeah. Even if it's good, and it doesn't mean you know it well. It doesn't mean if we are having a cord with our with our children or our spouse or someone we love that we are cutting the good. This is not happening. Yeah, but we are cutting the connection that keeps us together, and we cannot just then be ourselves. Even in the good sense, yeah. So if I'm talking to my father and he's telling me, well, I went to this doctor and he said that or that, I'm just cutting it all the time, yeah, on the phone and using my other hand.
So would you suggest that after specific interactions, especially if they seem to drain you in some way, to cut your cords?
Yes, to cut the cords. And I can give you a story that I like. I have a dog, and my dog is young and naughty, and she loves to lick kids, And we were going outside our flat, our house, and there is usually one child that she goes and they lick because they know each other, and they have a dog too, so she's used to it. But now there was another child with another mother who was not fond of dogs, and so she was angry at me and, do you know that your dog licked my child? I was like, yeah. You should apologize to me. And I said, yeah, okay. And well, it was a situation where I could feel it in my solar plexus. Yeah.
Yes.
And then we came back from the walk and I could still feel it. And I was like, what's wrong with it? And I realized that the woman, it was such a strong cord. She was still feeding me with her anger, with her frustration. And I was like, I do not want this. But at the same time, it was wonderful. I was so happy for the situation because it helped me to see what's going on. Yeah. So I cut it the way I do it usually, either like this or from pranic healing that I imagine it like a rope.
There are quite a few ways that you can do it. I've learned a few myself.
And it helped a bit. But it wasn't like 100%, it was only 80. So then my favorite guide is Archangel Michael. So I asked him, please, Archangel Michael, could you cut this and clear this for me? And he did it. And immediately, it was such a huge relief. And I felt so free. Yeah, and it disappeared and it was okay. Yeah.
That's amazing. And because you are so sensitive, you feel these subtle differences.
Yes.
Someone like me, if I had done it, it probably would have worked, but I wouldn't feel that difference that you do.
Yeah. It was a huge difference for me. Yeah. So this is my tip number 1. Do the cutting. And sometimes what I do also for protection, because protection, when you know that you are going to enter a difficult conversation with someone. So I start like on my pubic area and I go up like this to this point and lock it here and throw the key away. This is locking the central meridian.
So you take,
it's like zipping. It's like,
so you take your hand, pretend you're zipping.
Yes, you start down there in my, down here in the pubic area. Yeah. And you go up to the lip here.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you like lock it, and this is something that is called zipping, and it helps you to keep your energy. Yeah, this is from.
Okay, so it's almost like what I'm picturing is, let's say you have your aura, you're closing it off.
Yes, exactly.
So okay.
Could be, and of course, then you can bring with like imagining that you have the egg around you, the protection egg, whatever it is called in English. Or you can use any other kind of sacred geometry and a color Yeah, I sometimes if I walk into a mall, I use, let's say, I have Merkaba turning around me, and I love to have blue color. This is, but sometimes it's only the egg shape. So this is what I'm using too when I know that I'm going somewhere or being somewhere. This helps too, like beforehand. Yeah. But then there are cleaning and clearing techniques that I use afterwards. And what I do each and every evening is that I take not a salt bath, but salt shower.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is what really helps me a lot because, again, from pranic healing, salt is the best thing that can take in the bad stuff, the negative energies. So I have just a bottle with salt, kitchen salt, in my shower, and I put it on like if it was whatever, yeah.
So I guess you would obviously wet your body, and it almost goes on like paste, like it.
Yes, exactly. And then I do it, and I also add the intention that I'm really trying to clean myself from the energies. Yeah, if it's like you had dirty hands and you just needed to get the mud off. So I'm imagining that the energies are like the mud and I'm just scrubbing them. It's like a scrub, yeah, we can call it that. And so this is what I use. And I do the cord cutting afterwards too.
Yes, and every night before bed is probably...
Yes. Yeah. I do it like, I do the salt scrub, then I do the cutting in the shower, and then I do just cold water shower to end it.
Wow.
And then I imagine I'm filling myself up with whatever color I feel like. Yeah, it may be, sometimes it's violet, sometimes it's gold. Yeah.
In that short explanation of the tips that you had, you touched on so many different important things. You talked about sacred geometry, you talked about cord cutting, you talked about so many different elements that are so useful for people in the energy world and the real world, because this is where it counts. This is where it makes a difference.
Yes.
So, these are topics for the next time, I suppose, because we can go on. I mean, Dana, my conversations with you, we can speak for hours and we go from topic to topic. So it's wonderful that we can talk about something and share this, especially the people who haven't yet discovered all of these things. And again, I think it's very important what you're telling people right now, that sometimes it doesn't belong to you. Don't own it. Don't own the anger. Don't own the anxiety, because sometimes it's not even yours. And these are the simple techniques that she just described that are possible to help you get rid of it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I still find this fascinating, even though, I thank you very much. I didn't know about that zip technique. I'm going to try that myself. But is there anything you want to add to this? I mean,
what I believe is that they say there are about 25% of people who are this highly sensitive on the world at the moment.
That many.
Yeah, it's quite a lot, or 20, 25.
And these could be men and women.
Yes. It's, I don't know, in my experience, it's more women, because we are a little bit more sensitive due to our hormones. Mm-hmm. And we could talk about cycles again, because it's different for us. But I think it will grow. The number of highly sensitive people will grow, because it's connected to the 5D world that we want to live in. Which is
another topic of conversation.
Yes. But we want to live in a world that we can feel more one another, so that we can help or be of service to the other, or just to enjoy together more. Yeah. So, but at the moment, the time is speeding up. Yeah, it would be another topic, speeding up of the time. And we have so many things that we can do. Yeah. That it's a lot for our nervous system to process. Yeah. So at the moment, it's really a tough time for us highly sensitive people, because there are so many things to be processed or just to be, okay, get rid of, yeah. And, but I believe this will change. There will be more people like this, and the world will turn into a place where there is less noise. If you live in a city, the noise is sometimes really terrible, yeah. And and even if you go to a village and sometimes someone is cutting the lawn, mowing the lawn Saturday morning.
You know, Dana, now that you mention it, I described myself as on the other end of the spectrum to you.
Yeah.
But saying that, I've never lived in a big city. I've always kind of lived on the outskirts. But now that you mention it, whenever I go into the city, I don't seem to be able to stay very long.
Yes.
I need to kind of retreat back to my space, and I do get a little bit drained and tired just from entering into a city. So, you know, just being aware of these things is a good idea, because next time I go, I could do more of that shielding, the cord cutting, the zipping, and see if that makes a difference. So thank you very much.
Yes. So this is it. Yeah, we can be. There will be more of us, and because there will be more of us, people will become more aware what's not serving us. Yeah, be it the noises, be it even the things we eat. This is already happening, I believe. What we wear, because some fabrics are not good for us. Yeah, be it EMFs. This is just, you know, probably current biggest issue with EMF. I can feel it so much. Yeah.
And again, you've probably named about 25 or 30 different subtopics that we can get into.
Next time.
That could be a whole different conversation.
Yes. Yeah. So, but there are ways, and if you are sensitive, it's your gift. I would like to say that it's your true gift, and if it's, even though sometimes it's still really hard for me, tough for me to, just as you say, to go to Prague, for example, a huge city. I'm so exhausted. Yeah. But I remember what it was for me with my period, how terrible it was. Yeah, how debilitating it was. And I know there was a calling. I know it now. I didn't know it then. And it took me 5 years to get there. Yeah. But now I know that with this is also my calling. It's just next level of the cycles. Yeah. That I used to be teaching about. And
so one of the messages that I just want to present out there is exactly what you just described. If there's some kind of pain that you're enduring, you know, obviously it's hard not to focus on the negative, especially if you don't know how to help that, if you don't know how to make it better. However, I truly, truly believe that there's always hidden opportunities everywhere. And if you look for it, if you try to, you know, overlook the negatives to it and see, what is this trying to tell me? What is the opportunity that I have presented right now in front of me, and possibly can even help other people? Because chances are, if you're going through a specific problem, many people are. And that's why this is one of the ways that I want to start to talk about things like this, especially to people. I mean, I used to work in finance. Not in a million years would I understand any of the things that we just talked about. And it wasn't until I started exploring, until I became very curious about what's happening with this and what is energy, and I became a pranic healer. I mean, everything started falling into place. But I still know a lot of people who struggle in life, who haven't, I'm not saying that it's better or right or anything like that. It's not subjective in that way, but energy is objective. It is out there, and it affects every single areas of our lives. And to understand that can really be beneficial in helping people to get unstuck in their lives, to move forward in their lives, because there might be something that's holding you back that you're not aware of.
Exactly.
So I think the message is, again, what can you do about your pain to lead you to passion with purpose?
Yes.
And you are the the example, the inspiration of how this is all possible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what came to my mind when you were speaking was that what helped me to deal with that, it's not a pain, what I'm feeling, but with the awkwardness of feeling off sometimes. So I realized that we are not only this body, we are our soul primarily. Yeah. And the soul has decided that we will go through something. Yeah. It's not a fate. We have free will, we can decide we will do it or not. But it's like us in this body planning that we will go, let's say, to Mount Everest. Yeah. So we start preparing, and we have certain stages of the preparation and certain stages of climbing up. Yeah. So the soul has decided that we will go through something, through maybe some topics, and these obstacles that we find ourselves in our life are just, the stuff that the soul has put there. So it may sound strange, but when I realized this, that it was my soul who wanted this experience, I stopped being angry at me in my body, that I feel bad, that I feel sick, that I can feel energies that are not mine, that do not feel well. Yeah. And I realized, okay, so this is a challenge that my soul knows I can go through, otherwise it wouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what can I do with it? And I started searching, for the solutions. I do not have them all at the moment. Yeah. But I already have some. And now I'm helping my parents. They do the salt baths, salt showers, and they do the cutting. Yeah, even, mom cuts dad off and the other way around. And they're like, yeah, I'm feeling better. We are not arguing that much.
And I actually just recorded my last energy bite, and it was about life lessons. And when you're talking with the soul, giving you something in life to encounter, to have an obstacle, it's normally what you can also call a life lesson, something that you have to learn. And if you embrace it as a lesson and learn what you need to learn from it, then that opens you up to just a more wonderful life and more opportunities. But I find that in today's hectic modern society, people get stuck because it's so busy. We're so busy in the mind, we're so busy in the body, that when an obstacle comes, we just need to
remove it and go on.
And
yes.
Again, most people don't even know how to do this. So
yes.
Wonderful. I am going to, in the description, in the links, I'm going to include your information. I'm sure people will resonate with your story. If they want to reach out to you, I'll have Dana's contact details and more about her work as well. If you're interested in the cycle, her cycle success catalyst work, there's so much that she does do, so much knowledge she has. So this is the purpose of all of this, to share information, to share stories, and to form connections. Yeah. So hopefully you found this very interesting as I found it. And thank you again for speaking with me, Dana.
Thank you. Until
the next time.